Ethnographic research design definition and foundation. Ethnographic research is a qualitative research design that seeks to explore and understand cultural phenomena from the point of view of the participants. Rooted in the discipline of anthropology, ethnography is used to study the beliefs, practices, interactions, and social dynamics within a cultural group. The word ethnography comes from Greek roots. Ethnos meaning people or nation and graphy meaning writing. As such, ethnography literally means writing about people and focuses on producing rich, descriptive accounts of human behavior in natural settings. Unlike experimental or survey methods, ethnographic research prioritizes context, depth, and meaning over control or measurement. It aims to understand how people make sense of their world through their everyday experiences, language, rituals, and relationships. The primary goal of ethnography is to produce a holistic understanding of the social and cultural life of a specific group. Ethnographers immerse themselves in the field, often for extended periods, to observe and participate in the lives of the people they study. The end result is a thick description, a term coined by Clifford Geertz, referring to detailed, nuanced, and contextually rich descriptions of cultural practices. Ethnographic research is used in a variety of fields, including sociology, education, health, organizational studies, and more. Philosophical underpinnings. Ethnography is grounded in the interpretivist paradigm, which assumes that reality is socially constructed and best understood through the meanings people assign to it. It views knowledge as subjective, contextual, and co-constructed between the researcher and the participants. The ethnographer enters the field with an open mind, aiming to understand the participants' worldview, not impose their own. The approach is inductive, building understanding from the ground up based on observation, rather than testing pre-existing theories. Ethnography emphasizes emic perspectives, that is, the insider's view, over etic perspectives, which reflect the outsider's interpretation. Understanding the basic local meanings, symbols, and language is essential to conducting valid ethnographic research. The design embraces holism, striving to see behavior as part of a larger cultural and social system. Cultural patterns are seen as interconnected, and the researcher seeks to understand them in their totality rather than in isolation. Contextualization is critical. Actions are not interpreted in a vacuum, but within the framework of cultural norms and expectations. Thus, ethnography is not only a method, but also a way of thinking about and engaging with human behavior. Types of ethnography. Traditional ethnography involves long-term fieldwork, often spanning months or years, and is deeply immersive. Realist ethnography presents an objective, third-person perspective of a culture and attempts to minimize researcher bias. Critical ethnography, on the other hand, seeks to uncover power structures, inequality, and social injustice within cultural practices. Autoethnography allows the researcher to study their own culture or experience as a way of gaining insight into a larger phenomenon. Focused. Ethnography is more time-bound and addresses specific aspects of a culture, often used in health and organizational research. Digital ethnography, or netnography, adapts traditional methods to online communities and virtual cultures. Each type varies in the level of researcher immersion, time commitment, and analytical framework used. Despite differences, all types share a commitment to understanding people in their natural, lived contexts. Researchers choose the appropriate form based on the research question, field accessibility, and time limitations. The type of ethnography influences how data is collected, analyzed, and presented in the final thesis. Role of the researcher in ethnography. The researcher is the primary instrument of data collection and interpretation. This requires a high level of reflexivity, where the researcher critically reflects on their positionality and influence on the research setting. Ethnographers often adopt a participant-observer role, simultaneously observing and engaging with the culture under study. The level of participation can vary from complete observer to complete participant, depending on ethical concerns and research goals. Balancing engagement and detachment is critical to maintain objectivity while building trust and rapport. Building rapport is key to gaining insider access, particularly in close-knit or marginalized communities. Trust enables participants to speak candidly and allows researchers to observe behavior that might otherwise remain hidden. Ethnographers must be ethically sensitive, particularly when observing sensitive or potentially harmful practices. Gatekeepers, or key individuals within the group, often facilitate or hinder access to the research site. Developing good relationships with gatekeepers can make or break an ethnographic study. Data collection. Methods ethnographic data is typically collected using multiple methods to ensure depth, triangulation, and richness. Participant observation is the core technique, involving systematic watching, note-taking, and reflection on lived experience. Ethnographers maintain field notes that include descriptions, analytical insights, and researcher reflections. In-depth interviews complement observations, allowing participants to explain meanings, beliefs, and motivations. Interviews may be structured, semi-structured, or unstructured, depending on the research stage and cultural context. Informal. Conversations are also valuable, as they often reveal unfiltered opinions and social nuances. Focus group discussions may be used to observe group dynamics and collective beliefs. Artifact analysis, examining documents, photos, clothing, tools, or symbols, can deepen cultural understanding. In digital ethnography, researchers collect data from forums, social media, chat logs, and digital artifacts. All data is collected in naturalistic settings, where people behave authentically without experimental manipulation. Ethnographic data analysis begins during data collection and continues throughout the fieldwork process. The researcher engages in ongoing analysis, regularly reviewing field notes, identifying patterns, and refining observations. Analysis in ethnography is inductive, meaning that theories and interpretations emerge from the data rather than being imposed beforehand. The process involves coding field notes and transcripts to identify recurring themes, symbols, and behaviors. Codes are then grouped into categories that reflect broader cultural meanings and practices. A constant comparative method is often used, where new data is continually compared with previously collected information to refine understanding. The goal is to discover the underlying cultural logic that explains why people behave and interact the way they do. Unlike quantitative methods that seek to test hypotheses, ethnographic analysis seeks to produce a coherent narrative of lived experience. Data analysis often includes thick description, providing not just what happened, but how it happened and what it meant to participants. Ultimately, the analysis leads to a rich portrayal of the culture being studied, capturing both explicit and implicit meanings. Ensuring trustworthiness in qualitative research. Trustworthiness replaces the notion of validity and reliability used in quantitative research. Ethnographic. Studies must demonstrate credibility, which refers to the accuracy and believability of findings. Credibility can be enhanced through prolonged engagement, persistent observation, and triangulation of data sources. Member checking is another strategy, where participants review and confirm the accuracy of the researcher's interpretations. Transferability refers to the degree to which the findings can be applied to other settings. Detailed context descriptions help ensure this. Dependability is achieved by documenting the research process clearly, allowing others to follow the steps taken. Confirmability ensures that findings are shaped by the participants' views rather than researcher bias, often supported by an audit trail. Reflexivity also plays a major role in trustworthiness, helping researchers stay aware of how their background may influence interpretation. Using multiple data sources, interviews, observation, artifacts, enhances the richness and validity of the findings. Peer debriefing and research journals further support trustworthiness by exposing assumptions and improving analytical rigor. Ethical considerations. Ethnographic research raises significant ethical challenges, particularly due to the closeness between researcher and participants. Informed consent must be obtained, and participants should be made aware of the study's aims, methods, and their rights. Because ethnography often occurs in public or semi-public spaces, researchers must be vigilant about respecting privacy. Confidentiality and anonymity must be maintained, especially in small or close-knit cultural groups. Informed consent is not always a one-time event. Ongoing consent may be necessary as the research evolves. Researchers must also be careful not to misrepresent or exploit the communities they study. Ethical dilemmas can arise when observing sensitive or illegal behaviors. Researchers must have clear protocols in place. Power dynamics must be considered, especially when the researcher holds a position of social privilege over participants. The ethnographer must avoid going native, or losing objectivity by becoming too embedded in the culture under study. Institutions often require an ethics review or approval from a review board before fieldwork begins. Challenges and limitations. One of the biggest challenges in ethnography is the time commitment required for deep immersion. Building trust with participants may take weeks or months, especially in guarded or marginalized communities. The emotional toll on the researcher can also be significant, particularly in intense or traumatic research settings. Ethnography can be difficult to conduct in fast-paced or transient cultures where access is limited. Because the researcher is the primary tool, bias and subjectivity are always a concern. Maintaining objectivity while building relationships is a constant balancing act. Findings from ethnographic studies are typically not generalizable in the statistical sense. The sample size is often small and purposive, focused on depth rather than breadth. Recording, detailed observations, conducting interviews, and transcribing data can be labor-intensive and time-consuming. Despite these challenges, ethnography provides unique insights into complex, lived realities that other designs may miss. Applications and reporting ethnography is widely used in education to study classroom cultures, teaching practices, and student behaviors. In healthcare, it helps explore patient experiences, hospital dynamics, and traditional healing practices. Organizational ethnography is used in business research to understand workplace culture and employee interaction. In digital spaces, ethnography uncovers how people form communities and identities online. Ethnographic findings are usually presented as narratives, complete with quotes, stories, and contextual explanations. These narratives are often written in the first person to reflect the researcher's immersion and perspective. A thematic structure is commonly used in thesis chapters, breaking findings into key cultural categories. Diagrams, field maps, and photographs may also be used to enrich the presentation of results. The final report should discuss implications, suggest practical applications, and offer recommendations for future research. In sum, ethnography is a powerful, immersive, and holistic approach that reveals how people make meaning, live their values, and experience the world within their specific cultural contexts. If you find this content helpful, subscribe to stay updated on the next tips for writing Chapter 3. Feel free to comment below with topics you'd like us to cover in future content. Thank you.
Late night coffee cup, minds in a race, staring at the screen, trying to find my place. Outlines messy, deadlines tight, gotta make this thesis shine so bright. Sources, research, writing flow, draft and edit, take it slow. Citations right, no mistakes, one more page, oh for goodness sake. Write it, cite it, don't deny it, every word refine, revise it, step by step, don't lose your mind, that degree's about to shine. Lit reviews long, but I push ahead, methodologies got me seeing red. Data's done, now analyze, find the gaps and theorize. Feedback's in, Punctuation's right, no mistakes. One more page, oh for goodness sake. Write it, cite it, don't deny it. Every word refine, revise it. Step by step, don't lose your mind. That degree's about to shine. Lit review's long, but I push ahead. Methodology's got me seeing red. Data's done, now analyze. Find the gaps and theorize. Feedback's in, don't be stressed. Rewrite, refine, do your best. Presentation's up, take a breath. This thesis stands the test. Write it, cite it, stay excited. All this work, can't deny it. Step by step, you're almost there. That thesis life, it's only fair.